Good morning, students. Today we are talking about biology of tooth movement. Okay, so orthodontics is mainly concentrated on tooth movement. So we have to know about the phenomena that takes place during tooth movement. What signals the mechanical force to stimulate certain biological mediators to bring into tooth movement. So that there are various theories involved in tooth movement. We will see in briefly about the various theories of tooth movement, theories that have been put forward for tooth movement. Okay, so to understand the biology of tooth movement, you have to know there are the cells involved in tooth movements. Those are osteoblast, osteoclast, osteocytes, osteoprogenitor cells, and bone lining cells. What are these osteoblast, osteoclast? Osteoblast are bone forming cells, and osteoclast are bone resorbing cells. So what is this osteocyte? These osteocytes are the bone tissue which are stimulation will either go in for a osteoclast. Okay, so what are these osteoblast cells? So these osteoblast cells are derived from the neural crystals from the ectomesenchymal stem cells of the first brachial arch. So what are osteoclast? These are hematopoietic cells. So these are responsible for bone resorption. So these are actually macrophages, the macrophages that are responsible for bone resorption. Okay, so what are these are activated by various factors called colony stimulating factors, rankle, osteoprotegrine, and all these regulate the osteoclast differentiation. That is how a macrophage is converted to osteoclast. So what really happens during bone remodeling is these osteoblasts lay down the bone matrix. So on apoptosis, they turn into osteocytes. So these osteocytes will convert into osteoblast when required. Okay. So what are osteoprogenitor cells? So these are the present in the perivascular stem cells, and they are 20 micron of the nearest major vessel cells. They are least differentiated from. Then these gap junctions, these thin elongated lining cells, these are thin elongated cells with flat or slightly ovoid nuclei that line inactive bone surfaces. They connect each other via gap junctions. Okay, so these are the cells that these are the bone lining cells that provide nutritional support for the osteocytes and allow movement of calcium and phosphorus ions in and outside of the cells. So what are the three main theories for tooth movement? So far we have learned about the cells responsible for bone remodeling. Those are osteoblast, osteoclast, osteocytes, osteoprogenitor cells, and bone lining cells. Next is your what are the theories put forward for the tooth movement. Okay, so those are your pressure tension theory, fluid dynamic theory, and bone bending theory. So first we will see about the pressure tension theory. So pressure tension theory was first put forward by Oppenheim in 1911 and Schwarz in 1932. So they have made us pressure side and tension side. Pressure side is from where the force is applied, and tension side is the opposite side of the application of force. So according to this theory, what they say is in the pressure side, the PDL disorganizes and there will be fiber production. So the cell replication increases due to vascular constriction. So what happens on the tension side? In the tension side, there will be stretching of the periodontal fibers that will cause cell replications. So these are the basic phenomena that occurs during tooth movement that is put forward by this pressure tension theory. So what is the optimum amount of force that can be applied to affect tooth movement, or your called your optimal force required for tooth movement? So the forces delivered by any orthodontic treatment should not exceed the capillary blood pressure. That is, the capillary blood. If it exceeds beyond the capillary blood pressure, your blood vessels will tear. So the amount of force should be equal to the capillary blood pressure, that is around 20 to 25 gram per centimeter square of your root surface. Okay, so in this theory they have associated various periodontal this theory is mainly based on your periodontal ligament. So what is a flaw in this theory is there is first the stretching of the principal fibers that generate the tension, and second is the differential pressures that developed within the periodontium. So they have developed another theory that has been put forward by Bean in 1966. Here he said that blood flow theory, tooth movement occurs as a result of alteration in the fluid dynamics in the periodontal ligament. That is, in the periodontal space, you have a periodontal fluid. So your periodontal fluid, this fluid goes in and out of this space, and due to this hydrodynamic condition, you have a tooth movement. Okay. Next is your, so this theory also, according to this theory, when you apply sustained flow pressure, there will be alteration in blood flow, and this alteration in blood flow will cause change in oxygen level. Therefore, it will stimulate certain messengers or other metabolites, and that will produce chemical messengers that will produce cellular differentiation. That is cellular differentiation either for bone forming or bone resorption, which will affect the tooth movement. Okay. Next is your bone bending theory. So this was put forward by Ferrar in 1888. So according to this theory, the alveolar bone bending plays a pivotal role in orthodontic tooth movement. So according to these authors, when an orthodontic force is activated, force is delivered to the tooth and are transmitted to all tissues near force applications. So these forces will bend the bone, tooth and the solid structure of the periodontium. So what will happen is the bone will be more elastic than the other tissue, and when force is applied. So what happens when you apply heavy pressure? That is more than 1 second, what will happen is the periodontal fluid will be squeezed out and the alveolar bone bends and your piezoelectric signal will be generated. So if it is between 1 to 2 seconds, the periodontal fluid will be expressed, plus there will be tooth movement within the periodontal space. Next, if the pressure is more than for 3 to 5 seconds, the pedial fluid will be squeezed out and the tissues will be compressed, and you will have immediate pain if the pressure is very heavy. So what is this piezoelectric signals? So these piezoelectric signals are electric signals that initiate tooth movement initially and were thought to be piezoelectric. These are biologic electricity that are produced when light pressure is applied. So according to this theory, the alveolar bone bends due to the deformation in the crystalline structures. So electric signals were produced. These electric signals will cause change in bone metabolism due to cellular differentiation, and you will have tooth movement. And there are certain specific characters for the piezoelectric signals. Those are called quick decay rate and quick decay rate.